we organize, hundreds of thousands of photos on any given day. So we got an email, basically, it said, do you want to photograph 250,000 products? And we're like, that sounds fantastic. We have no idea what we're doing. So in a very short period of time, we talked to MSC Industrial. We designed portable studios on wheels before this, really became kind of an everyday thing. And we went into their warehouse, and within a year, shot all of their SKUs. We shot over 250,000 different not even just images, but 250,000 products. So it was a lot more than 250,000 images. And then provided them, they had to review them. We had to review them. And we really developed a nice organized system to accept product into our studio, to scan everything. We barcode all the products. It goes into our system. The clients have access to it. They can see how everything looks. If it's matching theirs, they'll give us feedback. If we need to reshoot, we'll reshoot. But it was all really based around this one request from MSC Industrial. But that really kind of helped kickstart the business and realize there was a demand out there for this real large scale. There's always been a demand for high-end commercial photography. You're launching a new refrigerator, and you might spend a day having one product shot, real, beautiful commercial quality photos, but there's also a need to have your entire catalog shot in a very, in a very high speed rate that's accurate and good quality. And that's kind of where our studio really fits in, is to get that high speed, high volume product photography for these larger companies out there. And our goal is to get them to ship us stuff. We have a warehouse, forklift. We can accept large amounts of products, but we've discovered and had to adapt that business a little bit for not everybody wants to ship us product. What we discovered is these huge companies that have hundreds of thousands of products and they have these massive supply chain systems. It's actually very difficult for them to pull something out of their normal supply chain and ship it to us. We thought that would be really easy. It's actually incredibly difficult for some of these companies to be able to do that. So we also still kind of do a portable system where we'll send a team of photographers to Vegas, to wherever. There's a lot of computer companies out in Las Vegas that we work with, but to go on site and just push through thousands of products at a time, and then they fly back and we work on all the post-production and things like that. So that company also has photography opportunities that would be a higher level photography that would require knowledge of lighting and everything. At some point when you're in the studio, you get to use lots of cool equipment. When you're on site, you're stuck with a tiny little white box and whatever you can do to try to get the perfect lighting for these products when you have a tiny studio. We have 360 turntables in our studio that we use, and there's lots of, from a graphic design standpoint and photo editing standpoint, our studio manager and some of her crew edit sometimes hundreds of photos a day, clipping. Sometimes we use a third-party clipping system. Sometimes we clip ourselves, but we shoot before they shut down for the Pennsylvania State Liquor Control Board. We helped them make the jump to e-commerce before they had to shut their website down, which they reopened. But they have a huge warehouse outside of Philly in the Westchester area that we were shooting all of their product, and they don't want dust, they don't want all little imperfections that can come on a wine bottle. You're just cleaning up. Same with these industrial supply companies. Even on this little image here, you look at these pipe fitting. They don't always come very nice. You have to do a lot of. You might have to clean up just all the little imperfections that you see. You're just doing a lot of cleaning that can't be done from the photography standpoint. So that's a much smaller business. These characters right here are Kyle's the kind of the head of operations. He also is involved on the get the picture side, and then Erica is our studio manager over at the studio on Front Street in Palmyra. So that's pretty much it. You know, as far as the current situation, like I said, on the get the pictures standpoint, you know, we're really taking this hard. We should have been, you know, we're in April now. We should have been open the first weekend in April at Hershey Park, and our revenue stream for the year should have been starting to come in. We don't know when Hershey Park's going to open. We don't know when Strasburg Railroad's going to open, Dutch Wonderland, Camelback, Chocolate World. You know, we have no idea when any of these places are going to be open. So our revenue for that company is almost completely cut off. That whole industry is going to be one of the worst hit industries in this situation, more than the restaurant industry. There's no opportunity for revenue from the amusement tourism industry without people being able to actually go and visit these destinations. So, you know, the concern is, even when things are able to get back to a little bit back to normal, what is it going to look like? What measures of safety are going to now have to be part of everyday life, at least for the next year or so, in order to be able to safely handle the volume of people that a place like Hershey Park will. So we are worried. We're worried, you know, not only just for ourselves, but for, you know, a place like Hershey Park, a place like Chocolate World, they're probably going to be fine. But, you know, a lot of these smaller parks across the country, if this would go into the summer and they would lose even part of their summer, you know, you could see mass closing. So we are very concerned about our industry, and, you know, we're already trying to figure out what even just our part of that business is going to look like when things reopen. You know, how do we limit customer contact? Do we focus more on digital products? Do we move away from handing somebody a print of their photo? You know, what all do we need to be ready for once things reopen? So definitely tricky there. On the other side, with the SKU Pick Studio, we're actually anticipating, once things reopen, to get a boom in business, because brick and mortar stores, I think, are still going to feel a pinch for a long time. I think this move to e-commerce that was forced is going to kind of stay there. It's not going to roll all the way back. So a lot of businesses who maybe have not yet made the jump to e-commerce may need to do that. And we're trying to figure out ways, even beyond product photography, to help new clients make that jump for the first time. What can we do to what can be a very daunting and scary process for smaller businesses to get their products online? How can we help make that easier for them? Can we, you know, while we provide the imaging, is there any other services we can provide to them, or work with other companies to put them in touch with, to kind of make that jump as easy and painless as possible, and affordable for them. So.
Well, thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
Yes, thank you for sharing. Can you link your website in the chat here so I can
Yep.
Bookmark it for later?
Yeah. I'll give you both of them since they're two separate websites.
Sure.
So Robin, you're coming from a photography standpoint. Danisha, what are you going to school for at PCA&D?
Graphic design.
Okay. Without experiencing, you know, the part of graphic design that can get really tricky is when you are working with someone else's brand, and you have to take, and I just know because I work directly with our lead graphic designer, and I can see her frustrations firsthand, but you know, trying to respect the brand integrity of a brand you don't own while putting your own creative flair into something is one of the, you know, trickier parts of graphic design. It's easy designing something that's solely coming from you, but when you've got people looking at it who are not graphic designers and are giving you all kinds of feedback, I know that's one of the challenging aspects that our graphic design team, not even just from our clients, but internally, and sometimes from me. You design something and then you start to get feedback and trying to figure out what are these people even trying to tell me about what I've just what I've just designed. So I know that's one of the challenges, but it's also really cool designing something that then ends up being used by a company like Hershey Company. I know there's a lot of one of the biggest projects our lead graphic designers worked on is we actually lost the Chocolate World contract for about 3 years to another company, and we just got it back last year, about a year ago, and we designed this whole book that multiple photos go in, but it's a kind of a big destination piece that if you go to Chocolate World, you can take home with you. So there's lots of material. There's games, there's recipes, there's all kinds of things. And to take all that material from the Hershey Company and then design it in a way that they're okay with, that we're okay with, that actually, needs to hold photos, it needs to be usable. And just even designing a book is a whole different, type of monster from kind of the normal projects she worked on, but it turned out awesome. We worked with a company out of Wales to publish it, and it was. But I know that was one of her most challenging projects, but also the one that she's probably the most proud of.
Yeah, I hope that you continue to come back to have these conversations, especially now. So we take a packaging course with Tom Newmaster, who owns Force Packaging in Lancaster.
Okay.
And he works with big companies to help them with their packaging. So he'll do all of their outside packaging, and then he'll help assist in all of the other design things that they may need. And to understand the idea of having to not only work with a brand that's already established and then have to produce for them is absolutely terrifying. However, to have that experience and then to be able to kind of turn things around is what I think a lot of designers do enjoy. So your company is definitely a good one for people who really love packaging and love to do things where they don't have to produce the branding point. And from me, I do love to do the branding, but I also love working with other individuals branding too. So
and that's a whole nother aspect that our design team kind of had to start doing is packaging. So with these personalized products, the way it works, we used to just kind of do over wraps where it was basically just a piece of paper that would be perfed, that you would rip the perfs off and it would just kind of go around. But we're doing more of a box type of system now, where as long as it can fit on, I think, an 11 by 18 piece of paper, we have that much space to design any sort of packaging layout. If we look at some of our products, so like these KISS boxes, we had to internally kind of figure out we did some research on some ways that Hershey was already packaging things, but we had to develop this package. So not just the graphics, but the actual, how do you lay this package out so that you can punch it out? Basically, we have a laser that custom perfs all of these products for us. We haven't found another company that can really do it as well as we can internally with our lasers, but we laser perf it, punch it out, and then it has to fold around and work. So watching our team, trying to figure that out. I mean, I can't even begin to do that. I can't lay these things out on a flat piece of paper and design them in a way that you can fold them. I mean, that definitely takes a special technique, which, what you're talking about, I'm sure they're masters at being able to do that. But for our company, that was kind of our first foray into different types of packaging. So these are all boxes that that go around the product. And as they for a long time, they only let us do Hershey bars, but we've now convinced them to allow us to do Kisses and some other products as well. So that's been an interesting. So Robin, from a photography standpoint, what are some of the kind of things you're hoping to ultimately do?
So yeah, I've been more of a fine art photographer for a while, and I just, you brought up, your bookmaking and that process and everything, and yeah, I just wanted to comment on, like, bookmaking or printing a book is like one of the best ways to like legitimize what you're doing. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I self-published 3 books, so I can take it to people and I can show them like, hey, this is what I can do. And once they like hold it in their hand, it like
Yep.
totally like,
It is.
they,
It's a very
yeah,
tangible. Yeah, it's a very tangible. It's exactly what we were going for. It's a very tangible object, but then it does add, a level of professionalism to whatever it is you're offering, and you can instantly see the effort that went in there to do that. Did you do yours through like a Shutterfly type website, or how did you actually
yeah.
create yours?
I did 2 of them through Blurb, um, and somebody owns that. I can't remember right. But then the last one I designed myself in InDesign, and then I had somebody print it for me. Off the top of my head, I can't remember, but
Okay. Yeah, we
yeah,
had a real challenge finding printers in the United States or locally that would do what we were asking them to do, because it required, special folds and sleeves and gluing and all of that kind of stuff. And we already were in. There's a company out of Wales called Adventa that provides one of the very few companies that actually provides products directly for our amusement business. And they kind of just took ownership of it. They found a printer in the UK, and they were just fantastic to work with. They're really, really fun. It was a fun but daunting process. And we needed 60,000 of them. So, so it was also a large product, which, as a side note, is supposed to be delivered right, of course, we were supposed to accept all the rest of them that haven't sold from their warehouse. So we're trying to figure out in the middle of this how to get 60,000 books and where to put them, and when we're not staffing anything, they're not staffing anything. So one of the many logistical challenges that we're facing right now. But all right, thanks guys. All right. Yeah, it was nice meeting both of you. Good luck with everything. And I do feel for your, this college age group right now. I just feel like it's one thing to be busy all day with my kids, but you guys are very social. You're used to hanging with your friends, and just everything is about being there in person. I totally remember how that is, and I just can't imagine, you guys facing this situation. So good luck with everything.
mhm.
Thank you.
Thank you, Seth.
Yep.